back there has some cards if you just want information on when April 15th is. But thank you very much.
Jim, are you getting around for a while? Or are you leaving?
You want me to take questions?
No, we can take them after. That's just it.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Well, it depends on how involved Marshall is.
Boss can be fast. Yes, one quick question, Jamie. You can hang around and ask for anything.
You know, one of the things that would really be helpful is an email listing that we could all have of our legislators. It's such a pain to have to email each one on the system that they have. I don't know if there's a way of circumventing that so we can, you know, not have to fill out that whole form.
You mean for Congress?
For Congress, yes. And it would be great if somebody would take that on as a project.
I'll do that. I actually we have an admin committee, and I actually emailed her the other day. She's going to compile on our website all the different Senate, Congress, President, all your delegates, all your state senators, all your board of supervisors, and all your school board members. So you should be able to hopefully just copy and paste. But no, I appreciate it. And we welcome all input because we are 100% volunteer. And we're just like you and you there sitting. And we're just, any ideas we get, we usually say, that's a great idea. Why don't you do that? Yeah, we definitely welcome all input.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Like I said, Jamie will be hanging around, so after the presentation, feel free to speak to her. Just to reiterate what Jamie said, it's absolutely vital that we all stay in the fight. If you don't know who your school board member is, you're wrong. So make sure you guys find that out, find out who your board of supervisors are, state delegates, and so on and so forth. Our next guest today is Delegate Bob Marshall, who represents the 13th District of Virginia, which is Prince William County. He's lived there since 1980. Bob has received numerous civic and service awards over the years. He served on the Prince William County Advisory Committee, which proposed building the Prince William Parkway. He was elected in 1991 to the Virginia House of Delegates. Bob has a Bachelor BA in History and Philosophy from Powhatan Taxpayer College in North Carolina, and a Master's in Humanities from California State University. His personal library is of over 2,000 books. Is an avid reader of history, philosophy, constitutional issues, medical, social, and political issues of importance. I don't believe that Bob has any hobbies, but I guess he likes to lift weights, gardening, and photography. He's a very busy guy. Bob has received numerous awards over his career. Some of them are the Brent Society Diocese Arlington Award in 1989, Friends of the Taxpayer Awards for the Prince William Taxpayers Alliance, Holy Family Academy Pro-Life Award, Virginia Liberty Award for Concerned Women, and the Miles Godwin Award for Conservatism from the College of William and Mary. Bob Marshall is a crusader for individual liberty. He never shies away from a fight. He, along with our own Pat McSweeney, helped overturn HB 3202, which granted an unelected body the right to levy taxes. It was overturned 7-0 in the Supreme Court and found unconstitutional. Delegate Marshall is also the patron of HB 10, the Virginia Health Care Freedom Act, which will protect Virginia citizens from mandated health care coverage pushed on us by the federal government, which recently just passed the House and the Senate in Richmond. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Delegate Bob Marshall. You don't have to, I'll just show it.
That's right. Let me give you some cards if you want to reach me in some capacity so I can get back to you and put you on my mailing list or whatever. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gosh, I feel like Mussolini up there.
I just don't think I have
this. Okay. There is something going on in our society. There's something going on in our society that hasn't happened for some time. And there is a shift from a government by contract or compact with the Constitution being the medium between elected officials and citizens to a government by status. A government by status is a government where the leaders tell you what to do and you do it, and there's no contract necessary in there, which is why the Obama plans in both the House and the Senate have mandates that you're supposed to, quote, voluntarily enter into a private health care contract. Well, you under threat of going to jail, of course. When you have a threat of jail for a year and a $25,000 fine, that's duress. That's not a true voluntary agreement. It is government by status that's being imposed upon you. So either you're a slave or a serf, but you're not a citizen anymore. And this is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Contract is essential to a free society. It was one of the powers of citizens that was referred to in the U.S. Constitution. It is by inference referred to in the 9th and 10th Amendments to the Constitution. The mandates, healthcare mandates, are imposed in both the House and Senate version under different titles. In the Senate, it's called the individual responsibility payment. That's another euphemism for the mandate. Now the question comes, does Congress have the authority to do this? And does a state have a right to say no to this? Okay, well, you need to ask your well, you don't have to ask your congressman because he knows what he's doing down there, but the others you've got to ask the question. Everybody proceeds from authority. When Christ was in front of Pilate, said, don't you know I have authority to do this? And Christ agreed. He said, yes, you have authority, but it comes from my Father. So everybody has to proceed under authority. The authority that members of Congress proceed from is the U.S. Constitution, the legislative history of which is found in the Federalist Papers. Okay? If you run into a congressman who just automatically thinks that because they're the biggest dog on the block, they can take anything they want to, you have to ask them, where did you get your authority to impose this upon us? And they'll come back and say, well, the Supremacy Clause. Hamilton, 33rd paper here, talks about the Supremacy Clause presumes that the law is enacted in pursuant to the Constitution. If it's not enacted pursuant to the Constitution, it's not supremacy. It's an illegitimate exercise of power. Even John Marshall had to say that in 1819 in McCullough versus Maryland patent. So anything they do is not by that fact automatically supreme. It may be supine, but it's not supreme. The states, therefore, and if you look in the articles, the papers 44, 45, 46, Madison talks about the state legislators having the responsibility to be an interface and a defender of the lives, the liberties, and properties should there be usurpers in Washington, which there are quite a few right now. And in the 83rd paper here that Hamilton talks about, let me read that because it's so important. You see, I want you to mistrust me because I'm a public official, so it's a good, healthy mistrust. Now, you can find this for yourself. So, 83rd, the plan of the convention declares that the power of Congress, or in other words, the national legislature, shall extend to certain enumerated cases. The specification of particulars evidently excludes all pretension to a general legislative authority, because an affirmative grant of special powers would be absurd as well as useless if a general authority were intended. And this is from Alexander Hamilton, the biggest exponent of a strong and centralized government. If even he didn't do it, where did they get the authority to do this? Now, particularly, somebody says, well, what has the Supreme Court said about this? Okay, let me cite you two cases here. One is Prince versus United States. This is 1997, in which there was a statute that was passed by Congress